Hi there, I'm sitting here in the new lagoon at Woodbine Beach that formed during the spring's relentless rainfalls and damaging waves. Opportunistic carp moved into the lagoon to frolic, spawn, and do other things that carp do. In the same way the beach became flooded with water, has the Toronto real estate market become flooded with listings? And like the Woodbine fish, should Toronto homebuyers be seizing the opportunity to seek out a new home? Hi, I'm Rebecca Lang, Toronto real estate broker with RE/MAX Hallmark. Welcome to my Toronto real estate market update for the month of June. The question everyone is asking is, has the Toronto real estate market bubble finally burst, or are we just edging towards a more balanced market? For the answer, let's start by looking at the average sale price for all home types in the city of Toronto. In May, it was just under $900,000, which is a 4.7% drop from the average sale price in April. This sounds like a significant month-over-month decline, but when you compare with May 2016, the Toronto average selling price is up 15%. 15% is a much more healthy rate of increase than the frighteningly high increases we saw a few months ago. I think most people knew those increases were unsustainable and the pace of increase would slow down at some point. A month-over-month dip like this is reasonable to expect when we are coming from such a heated pace. Now, although the average sale price is only up 15% this year over last, the Toronto Real Estate Board's benchmark price index, the HPI, shows a gain of 26.1% year over year and a month-over-month increase of 1.6%. That's right, the HPI was up this May compared to April. The HPI is designed to take into account the characteristics of the homes that have actually sold. Characteristics such as size, number of washrooms are factored into the index so that it doesn't get skewed as much by, say, a particular month that sees a lot of luxury or oversized homes being sold. Thus, the HPI's increase is an indication that May's dip in the average sale prices could be related to a relatively higher proportion of smaller homes being sold, for example. Let's talk about the number of listings on the market. News headlines have repeatedly mentioned how the number of new listings has jumped up 49%. And that is correct if you're looking across the entire GTA, and if you're also including houses that have been relisted over and over again within the same month, and when you compare to the last year's extremely low number of new listings in May. Focusing on just the number of actual live listings in the City of Toronto for May 2017, we have 5,829 compared to 5,936 in May of 2016. In 2016, this represented 1.3 months of inventory, while for 2017, this is 1.5 months of inventory. Month over month, inventory levels are continuing to creep upwards, but are still quite low. In fact, the inventory selection available right now might not last for long at all. Think about this. The beginning of the year, we saw unprecedented price increases and low inventory levels. Many sellers got excited about how much their houses are worth, and those with the option to cash in are taking the opportunity now. We may in fact be borrowing some inventory from the future right now as sellers accelerate their plans to take advantage of the record high prices. On the flip side, we have buyers whose confidence has been undermined with the potential effects of the new Ontario housing plan and fallout from the struggles of Home Capital Group. Historically, Toronto homebuyers have adapted to housing rule changes within a few months. If this happens again, our current mini surge in inventory, which really isn't that high at all, could quickly be consumed, putting us back into a very tight market conditions. I'll talk more about what buyers and sellers should consider after a quick rundown of the main sales stats for May. In the City of Toronto, the average sale price for detached homes was $1,503,000, which is a 16.7% increase over last year. The average sale price for semi-detached homes was $1,062,000, up 27.2% over last year, and the average for condo townhouses was $626,000, up 16.8% over last year. And condo apartments were at an average of $564,000, which is a gain of 27.6%. As you can see, the condo apartment segment is still showing a lot of strength. And while I don't have the stats for new construction condos, I can tell you that brand new condo launches have still had long lineups in the last few weeks, and some have sold out their releases within a matter of hours. If you are thinking of buying a house and you do not currently have one to sell, now is the time to be aggressively looking for opportunities. There are still sellers out there who assume their home would sell in 2 days, like it might have done in February, but who are now getting antsy as weeks go by with very few showings. You could end up like the Lake Woodbine Carp, living in a new home in a new neighborhood that you never thought was possible. Something to keep in mind as you look at house prices online is that it may actually look like list prices have gone way up compared to a month ago. The reason for this is that many sellers are now pricing their homes at the prices they are expecting their homes to sell for, or just slightly above. In previous months, a list price of $800,000, for example, would often result in a sale price close to $1 million in a bidding war. That is now less often the case. A list price of $800,000 might actually mean you can buy the house for a little less than $800,000. And the houses that are going to sell for $1 million are actually listed at $1 million. Sellers are now much more likely to list at the Buy Me Today price, not the artificially low bidding war price. If you aren't sure if the list price is the real price, please feel free to get in touch with me and I will help you figure it out. So, what does this mean for sellers right now? If the timing is right for you, this is still a great year for selling your home. Your house is still worth significantly more than it was last year, and if it is priced right, well presented and well marketed, you should still be very pleased with the outcome. Move-up sellers have a lot to consider with timing, selling versus buying first, and having a financial contingency in place in case things don't work out as planned. Fortunately, I'm here to help you navigate through all of this. Please feel free to call, text, or email me. My phone number is 416-357-1059, or you connect with me through RebeccaLang.ca. Thank you for watching and have a great month of June. Until next time, I'm Rebecca Lang, Toronto Real Estate Broker.